My name's Howard Jorna, and I'm with Atom Egoyan. He presented his film Devil's Knot at the Festival Du Nouveau Cinema, and I'm here with him to talk about his film.
Well, my best measure of that are my relatives who live here, who have dutifully watched all the films I've presented at this festival over the years. And last night we kind of retreated from the screening and went back to their place, and they all felt that this was easier for them to understand than my other movies. The entry level is really clear. I mean, you understand the horror of this event, and you understand the need to find out who did it. The challenge is that the film is defying Hollywood convention, because at the end we're left with a ton of questions and there's no resolution. But we also understand that that is part of the process. It's based on a real event, and there was no conclusion. You want to know who could have done this. It's such a, 3 boys are found murdered in a swamp in Arkansas, and it's a really horrifying crime scene. Their bodies are mutilated, bound by their own shoelaces, and submerged in water, and yet there was no evidence at the site. There's no footprints, there's no blood, there's no DNA, there's branches don't even seem to be disturbed, so it's supernatural. And so you can understand that especially in a very religious community in the southern states, they needed to find who were the demons who could have done this. And so this whole process goes into place where they choose these teenagers who are outsiders. And as a viewer, we think they found the perpetrators. A lot of the townspeople still believe that it was these 3 kids. And not only that, I mean, they signed what was called the Alford plea, which to get out of prison after 18 years, they signed a document which acknowledges that the state had reason to convict them. In a way, even though they're maintaining their innocence, they are still technically felons. Jason Baldwin was on the set, and I'm actually meeting him next month. There's a function for the Society, against wrongful convictions, or the wrongfully convicted, and he's the keynote speaker. So he's very engaged in this question. Damien Eccles has written a book about it, and about his years in prison. They have to revisit this because it formed who they were. I think it's just that you go into a place and you have a huge learning curve. You're trying to find out everything you can about that culture. And that's what was exciting, is that I was learning about the culture as I was shooting the films. But more than anything, just the role of religion and belief in that culture, which is unlike anything we can really understand. It's like, when they talk about the Bible Belt, it really is. It's not about race or these other issues that we might imagine the South is really consumed with. It's really about the prevalence of religion, the fact that there are churches everywhere and that they're still full on Sundays. People really do believe in the hand of God and the presence of Satan, and that's a very real force there. I just felt that the story itself was so exceptional, and I didn't want to kind of editorialize it with a particular style. I wanted to use all these different genres that have been attached to the story at different times, between documentary and horror and murder mystery and courtroom drama. I wanted to find a way to let the viewer be as close to what was happening as possible. I think that there is now maybe some sort of a bifurcation of my career between the films that are intended for a larger audience and the films that are really personal. And the technology allows me to make those films outside of any system. But a film like Devil's Knot is a film that really needs to be seen, because it's part of a bigger discourse, and it's financed that way as well.